Caitlin, and this is Here Come the Millennial Grannies.
That's right. We're just a couple of millennial sisters fully embracing our granny hobbies.
Yes, I'm Kara. I'm the older one, and I knit and do a little bit of sewing and cross stitch and mostly all the yarn things.
Yes, and I'm Caitlin, and I do all the crafts. I feel like I try everything at least once, but I mostly do sewing, quilting, bag making, but I've been doing a lot more of like the yarn stuff lately too, crochet and knit.
Yes. So Caitlin, do you want to explain our name?
Well, sure. So we both have kids. That's the first thing. We both have kids that are not like super young, but we have a range, right? We go from like 14, I have a toddler who's in preschool up to a 14-year-old.
14-year-old. Yeah.
And but of course, they all love Bluey because who doesn't? And so one of the favorite episodes, of course, is when Bluey and Bingo play that they're grannies and they say, "Here come the grannies." So we kind of took that, rolled with it. We also have a really fun picture which we can share of me and Kara playing grannies when we were probably about the same age as Bluey and Bingo in the show.
Yeah, so I was probably 7, which would have made you like 4.
Yeah.
So
it just was meant to be.
Well, and then also playing into sort of the stereotype that millennials are skipping their midlife crisis and just going straight to the grandparent hobbies.
Yes.
Which I don't think is a bad thing.
It's a very great coping mechanism.
It's a great coping mechanism. Our entire adult lives have been crisis, so.
Just one after the other.
Yes.
We don't need to rehash them.
That's
another episode.
Definitely not. Yes. On to happier subjects. So, what are you working on right now? What are you working on right now, Caitlin?
Well, as we all know, Joann's is going out of business.
So sad.
Moment of silence. Rest in peace. So, I've been doing a lot of yarn shopping at Joann's because panic, right?
Right.
And I was shopping with one of my friends this week, and she does a lot of amigurumi, and she uses blanket yarn. So I had her help me buy a bunch of blanket yarn, and I am working on the Cloud Blanket by CJ Design, and I will show it off. It's a crochet blanket yarn.
Ooh, that's so cute.
It is honestly the softest thing I've ever felt in my entire life. So I'm using the Big Twist blanket yarn.
Okay.
So, you probably can't find it anymore. But I know that Bernat blanket. It was written with Bernat blanket, but yes. So, and then of course, my child has claimed it. So I have to make another one because I have 2 daughters.
I was going to ask.
Close in age.
I was going to ask if this was going to be for you or if one of the girls was going to take it.
I mean, it was going to be for me, but then the older girl was like, mine. It is mine now. So then I went today and I got more similar colors that I will make for the other girl. So, and I will just steal them from them when I want to feel like a cloud. What are you working on?
Well, I have 2 things because I am not monogamous with projects.
Nor am I. I just showed one of like 13. So yes.
I started this sweater like a year ago, and I've come back to, and then I had to block the pieces, and then the next thing to do was weave in ends, and so it sat for many months because I hate weaving in ends, and it's still on pieces. I'm weaving in. So my day job is I am an archivist. An archivist is like a librarian except for manuscript collections. That's probably the easiest way to explain it. It's a little more complicated than that. And all the other archivists out there will know that we use we have to use acid-free boxes. And sort of the standard brand for the acid-free boxes is called Hollinger's, and they come in this very distinctive gray color. And then we put white labels on the outside, so it's just lots of Hollinger boxes. The pattern has been discontinued. It was the oh, now I forgot, Drumlin. I'll put it in the notes below. It was a cardigan by Amy Herzog, but I think the pattern's been discontinued. But I just used her pattern, and then I charted the color work myself. So this is
Nice.
these are the last ends I have to weave in, and I can sew it all together and add ribbing. And I'm using Cascade 220 Sport. It's not fingering. I think it's Cascade 220 Sport. I'm not crazy enough to do a fingering sweater.
Asterisk, another fingering. You've
Another
done one in the
fingering.
past, right?
I've done one. Never again.
Yeah.
It takes too long. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a commitment when you can do a fingering sweater.
Yes. So that's finally moving again. I'm almost at the point where I can sew it together. So
Yay, that's an exciting thing. My kind of like long-term project like you have that you kind of like pick it up, put it down, pick it up is, let me get it. So it is, I'll talk about it first because it doesn't look like much of anything, but it is the Traveler hoodie by Andrea Mowry.
okay.
So it, yes, it's a garment like yours, and it's a sweater, and it's like not just a sweater, but a hoodie. So there's even more yarn needed and knitting and all that. So yes, it's knit. It's got this great texture.
Ooh.
I technically am done with the front. That's like the neck hole right there. But you do it from the bottom up, which is new for me too. And so this is, I'll show this. This is the ribbing at the very bottom. And then you do it from the bottom up circular until you split for where the sleeves are starting. And then you do the front and the back. So I've done the front, I'm working on the back, and then you add sleeves and the hood. And it is another yarn that was exclusive to Joanne, so rest in peace. It is Eddie Bauer Woolpaca Light, so it's a DK weight yarn. And it's wool alpaca blend, superwash wool alpaca blend.
What are all these companies that had their yarn being sold at Joann's gonna do?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
will they go to Michael's?
I don't know.
I don't.
I feel like, because like Big Twist is just like somebody makes it, and it's not like a Big Twist factory, right? It's got to be some other big company making it and white labeling it for Joann's.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know, like, I will say the Eddie Bauer yarn has been scarce and hard to find since before the announcement. So I don't know if that was just like a limited time collaboration or what, but
Yeah.
Disappointing.
So sad. Well, my other thing is, so last year last year and a half, I guess, I got back into cross stitch, which was your fault. Because you sent me a Lord of the Rings stitch along when I couldn't resist it, and then I worked on it for a year and a half. But I finished that not too long ago, and I was like, well, I think I'd like to do another cross stitch. So you can't really tell what it is yet. But I am a pretty big Brandon Sanderson fan. And on Etsy, I found a Stormlight Archive cross stitch with lots of quotes from the Stormlight Archive. So that's what it's going to be. But
love that.
Yeah.
So is it a lot of text? Are there images in the pattern?
There's a few images. It's almost entirely text. We'll link it. It's almost entirely text. I have never cross stitched on black Ada before. And
is it like knitting with black yarn?
It's exactly like knitting with black yarn.
Oh, no.
So I look like such a nerd. I have like a light that goes around my neck and I'm like
Yeah.
shining on it. Sometimes I have my phone behind it, like backlighting it to see. Yeah. But I think it'll look really cool once it's done.
It will look really cool, but there may be some regrets along the way, I feel like.
I don't know if my vision will be really cool when it's done. I'll go to my optometrist and he'll, I'll rub in how old I am and then ask me what I've been doing and why my eyesight's so bad. So, do you have any finished?
I have no idea.
Do you have any finished objects to show?
Nope.
Okay. Well, then I'll show mine. I've literally finished it tonight.
Ooh.
So, this is my this is my grandchild. This is my daughter's doll, who she calls her daughter. So I guess this is my granddaughter. Her name is Haley or Hallie.
That's the only one you need for a very long time.
Yes. And my daughter got her for Christmas and then immediately started requesting me to make things for her. So I found this pattern for this little dress on Etsy, which my daughter picked out. It's knit in, I have the label right here. It's Lion Brand Mandala, which is like a fingering weight acrylic. And this colorway is called Harmony. So
I love the
it's
colors.
just one. Yes. So it's varied, so it looks like it's stripes. And then I had these buttons just in my sewing stash.
Cute.
My child picked them out.
Okay, I feel like I could get behind this for my own kids because I haven't really made them anything. I made them cowls, but I haven't really made them anything else, and they're always asking me. I guess I'm making them the blanket too, so I guess they don't really need anything else, but I haven't tried a garment for them because I feel like they'll outgrow it so quickly that it just feels like too much work for like a day's worth of wear. Because I did knit them socks at one point, and they've both grown out of them, and it's like, well, what do I do now with these tiny socks?
My kids have outgrown their socks too.
So, yeah, and we were just working on those this summer, so.
I know. Well, here's the thing about 13-year-old boys.
I know.
Like 13 into 14-year-old boys, they just kind of like explosively grow.
Keep growing. And yes, I know.
Now hands and feet are gigantic, and and then the younger, she's 8.5, but she hit a growth spurt too, so she's outgrown things too. But dolls don't grow.
They don't grow. So she could hand that down to her future daughter in 30 years and it would still fit.
Yes, and I like
and
the 18-inch doll.
It will have fit the whole time.
Yeah. I like the 18-inch doll size because, like, she's kind of hinted about me making things for a Barbie, but that's too tiny.
So sorry.
But 18-inch doll is a good size.
Yes.
So
hilarious. Barbie. Nope.
By the way, that girl wants to be an influencer, and she is so excited that her doll is making an appearance on YouTube.
Oh, hey, shout out.
Yeah.
So. I've tried like sewing Barbie clothes, and even that is like, it's too fiddly.
No.
I can't do it.
No, it's too tiny. Okay, so what are future project ideas? Life is stressful right now.
Indeed.
And for reasons, my work is very stressful right now.
Indeed it is.
There's a lot of frustration going around. And if you hop on Ravelry, the #1 pattern right now on Ravelry is called, is the Non-Cooperation Brick by Hannah Roderick. It is a knit brick. And as far as I can tell, the whole point of it is you knit it and then you have something you can throw and not hurt anyone or anything in moments of frustration.
Non-destructive rage. Let's do it. Let's get it out.
Yes. And it's a free Ravelry download. And I do have some fingering weight yarn left over from other things. So I think I may be making a non-cooperation brick.
Excellent.
I may be making a few.
I support this.
So.
Yes. Because you need like at least a small pile. because you don't want to have to go
Yeah.
retrieve the brick every single time.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah.
Every time you throw it, you should have like a pile so you can throw like 3 in really short succession. I feel like that would be more satisfying. So
It could.
yeah.
It could. So, and
I love it.
we're not the only ones, because this is the #1 pattern on Ravelry. So
the times,
Fun.
the times.
fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
so talk about what you bought yarn for.
My next thing that I'm gonna start, that I don't know when I'll start it, but I saw it and I just thought it was super cute, is the Magnus Cardigan by Megan Makes Do. And I have the yarn for it. I bought this Scarfy Light, Lion Brand Scarfy Light. It's like super fuzzy. I've seen this Scarfy in stores before, but I had not seen this Scarfy Light, and it just has this like beautiful halo to it. So I did that, and then I'm gonna do woolies for there's like little, it's like the cuffs and the ribbing, and it's like a little accent in between. So it's a crochet pattern. So I've never made a crochet garment before, but that's part of why I picked this yarn, because I also have an affinity for hand-dyed yarn, but for crochet, it takes too much yarn to do.
You're working on another crochet garment, though, aren't you?
Am I?
The Jethro?
I am, but I'm actually done with the crochet part on that. So I'll have to pull that in for next time. So that's,
Yeah.
I'm at the point where I finished all the crochet on it. And I just like, it's when that transition to like knitting and getting it all put together that I end up like stalling out. And I hope it won't take me forever to get back to it. But it's like that mental block of like, okay, how do I do this? How do I figure out how to cast on knit stitches to all the edges of this crochet?
Gotcha.
So, which I'm sure there's a video. I'm sure it's like, it's a great pattern. So I'm sure it is expressly written out for me. I just haven't read it yet, you know.
Got it. Yeah, well, that is going to be my next
Ooh,
thing that start.
nice.
So I got this yarn almost a year ago. It was my birthday gift to myself. Actually, I think it was technically Jerry's birthday gift to me, but it was my birthday present. And I was going to use it for.
We all know who picked it out.
Yeah, for a sea glass tea. I think I was going to do the tea. But then when I was in town with you, and we went to your local yarn store, and they had a Jethro on the mannequin, and we both kind of drooled over it. I decided I'd rather make it a Jethro. So last year, Bad Sheep Yarn, which is a hand-dyed yarn company out of Pensacola, Florida, I believe, had a Jane Austen collection. And I am a nerdy child of the 90s and cannot resist anything Jane Austen. So this is Elizabeth from Pride and Prejudice.
So pretty.
And then Emma from Emma. Eleanor Dashwood from Sense and Sensibility. Anne from Persuasion. And then Fanny from Mansfield Park. So here they are.
Love them.
So I'm going to use those for the granny squares, and then for the knit parts, I ordered some of their DK weight yarn in Sundog, which is like a white with like a few speckles of other colors in it. So
It's gonna be so pretty.
once that arrives, I'll be starting with that. And I will also be figuring out how to pick up knit stitches long crochet.
Maybe we can do it together. I'll be done with my break by then.
Yeah, so we can figure it out together. So that's sort of the next plan.
Fun. I'm excited to see how all those granny squares come together. They're gonna look so pretty.
Yeah. Did you just use one color of yarn for the granny squares, or do you like alternate colors around the granny square?
I just did it as randomly as I could. And
Okay.
for the last round, I did it in the same color that I'm going to be doing, like the sleeves and stuff. So, well, the connecting round I did in the color of my sleeves. Because I did follow her, I forget, like, connect as, like, it's not as you go, but you connect it all at the end with one thing of yarn so you don't have a billion ends to tie in. I wish I remembered what that method was called. I'll add it under my face to this part of the video.
Well, I'll need to be holding this doubled though, because it's fingering. Mm-hmm. But you did that, right?
No, I had DK.
Oh. Okay, well, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It should work.
I mean, you can do do a couple practice probably, or,
Yeah. Well, crochet's pretty forgiving, so.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't have any other plans for things. Have you been watching anything good on TV? Or not TV? I don't even
Survivor
watch TV.
started back this week, so I'm super happy and in my happy place. I love it. They're already talking about, like, they're looking forward to season 50 already.
I was going to ask, what season of Survivor are we on?
I forget exactly what it is. I want to say it's like 47 or 48 or something, but they definitely, like, talked about season 50 coming up and how it's going to be different, and they want all kinds of, like, viewer input for season 50. But yeah, it makes me feel really old.
I was like, I remember when season 1 was.
Yep. But
they do. I guess they do multiple seasons because I'm not 50 years old.
Yeah, usually there's at least 2 seasons a year.
Okay.
But it started in 2000,
really
so
old.
it's like 25 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Y2K.
We're so old.
Yeah.
But
not actual grannies yet, so not that old. Although we do have a cousin who has a grandchild.
This is true.
We're not that far off.
Well, and my child is solidly a teenager. Not even a preteen, not even tween.
Ouch.
We are teenagers.
Yep.
So.
But you had them spaced pretty far apart, so at least you're not dealing with, like, both of them being teenagers super quick together. You have some time to really cherish the last childhood years of your youngest.
Yeah, but let's be honest, she already kind of acts like a teenager.
I know. Well,
So.
You could try to convince her to maintain her childhood for a little bit longer.
I can't convince her to do anything she doesn't want to do.
Same.
So.
We all have the same genes.
Yeah, so I haven't really been watching a lot. I've been mostly playing a lot of Palia for escapist purposes.
Yes,
but
we love it.
I'm really, really enjoying Palia.
10 out of 10 recommend from me. It's great.
I am currently anxiously awaiting my blueberry bush to finally start producing. Because I need fruit for all the things.
That's good time.
So,
yeah.
So I've
for
been
your
doing
petty
that,
fives.
For my petty fives. Yes, that's exactly what I am anxiously awaiting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So.
Yeah, so it's like a super cozy game.
Yeah.
There's no, like, battling or anything. But you still have, like, missions and stuff. So I kind of think of it as, like, a mix between, like, Zelda and Hogwarts Legacy and, like, Animal Crossing maybe,
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I've played other MMOs before, which are, not cozy. And I was so pleasantly surprised by the player culture on Palia, where everyone's like, let me help you. Let me send up a flare where the rare thing is so that you can find it too. It's just
Yes.
very heartwarming
It's like
and a lot
it's
nicer than the real world
aggressively
right now.
nice. The only
Yes.
aggression is like when there's somebody rude and everybody in the chat is like, "Stop being rude. Share this with everybody." Like,
Yeah.
so,
Yes. So
yeah.
it's just heartwarming. But watching, I don't know. Um,
I mean, there are only
I'm
so many hours in
behind.
a day.
I'm behind. But there's a new season of All Creatures Great and Small. Have you watched that?
I have not, but I have heard it is so good. So
Well, first of all,
it's on my
the
list. But
knitwear in it is just
mm,
wonderful. But yeah, I mean, it's a story of a veterinary clinic in the Yorkshire Dales in the late 30s and early 40s.
yeah,
So it's also just heartwarming. I mean, World War II is happening, so there's, some stuff going on with that, but it's mostly just very heartwarming. So I watched the first episode, so I need to finish that. And then I saw on Prime the other day, I guess there's a series out about King David. So
I saw the previews for that too recently. I haven't watched it, but I
I
saw
start
what you're talking about.
I started watching it. I don't know too much about it. Like, it kind of seems like it's at least done in a similar style to The Chosen.
Mm.
So I don't know if people with The Chosen were involved in it, but um, yeah, It's interesting. I started watching it, and it's interesting. So,
Nice.
and then Love
What
Is
you
Blind.
reading?
There's a new
Oh,
series
Love
of
is
Love Is
Blind.
Blind.
Yeah.
I have not started it. I need to be in a very specific mood to watch Love Is Blind.
Yeah. So I
But
watched the first season and I haven't watched any since, but I've got like that itch to watch something kind of like cheesy romantic / drama.
I mean, it's always a train
So,
wreck.
yeah.
And I have a very good friend who watches it, who will probably want me to talk to her about it. So
Mm-hmm.
I probably need to watch it. But yeah. So reading. Okay. So I recently started reading this book. I'd seen it recommended quite a lot in like knitting YouTube and historical clothing YouTube. It's called Women's Work: The First 20,000 Years by Elizabeth Wayland Barber. This is the 2024 edition, and it's basically the history of it's a textile history, but it's specifically history of textiles and how women interacted with them from prehistoric and ancient times. Like
Wow.
she starts with the Stone Age. Like I'm in the Stone Age right now.
Wow.
So this is what I nerd out over textile, old
That's cool.
textiles.
So how you may not know this answer, but how is she getting her information about like prehistoric textiles? Like how do we even know about that? I guess is my question.
Because there's hardly any left because organic matter decays. There have been some left. I haven't gotten far enough to where there's stuff that she's found yet, but I think like maybe peat bogs and stuff like that will preserve things. But this is interesting. But humans started carving figurines pretty early on in their history, and those figurines had clothes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So
Because early languages were more
early.
figural than, there wasn't, even before alphabet, there were figures, right? So.
Right. Well, and also there are people who study, like, who take modern languages and trace them back to try to figure out what the, like, old Indo-European or old Uralic, what words they had. And you can learn a lot from a culture about, like, the words they had for things, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Cool.
That's what I've been nerding out over. And then well, this is a fun read, but my equally as nerdy, but less academically nerdy and more like fantasy nerdy is I am reading, and I don't have it because I'm reading on my Kindle. A Song for Arbonne by Guy Gavriel Kay. Have you ever read any Guy Gavriel Kay?
Mm-mm.
So he does like, it's like historical fiction in a fantasy setting almost. There is magic, but it's not like super magic-y. I mean, based on the almost half of the one book I've read of his. But his settings are inspired by like real historical analogs. And a lot of people say the best way to get into him is just to pick the book that corresponds with a historical era you are interested in. So a song for Arbonne takes place in basically a fantasy analog of medieval Provence with like troubadours and so yeah, so I've been reading that and it's really good. So Guy Gavriel Kay interned for Christopher Tolkien and had something to do with the publication of the Silmarillion.
Oh, cool.
Nobody knows quite how much he did. So, you know, he may have written some of the Silmarillion. So he writes in a very Tolkien-esque prose. Like he sounds a little bit like Tolkien.
Gotcha.
So that's cool. So that's what I'm reading.
Nice.
What are you reading?
Well, I do audiobooks. I'm the audiobook queen, I feel like. And I'm currently doing a reread of the Wheel of Time series in anticipation of the new season coming out in just a couple weeks.
Have you seen the 11-minute preview?
I have. I have indeed. Yes. A lot of thoughts. Yeah. But I'm currently in book 4, which is The Shadow Rising, which is a great one. So.
Yes.
But yes, those, like the preview, the trailer, like the teaser trailer, the 11-minute, it's like the first 11 minutes of the first episode, right?
I think so.
Ooh, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Things are happening.
Yes, things are happening. I feel like it's good. It's good. It's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of looking forward to things, what do we have coming up in 2 weeks?
I'm so excited.
Less than 2 weeks. Week and a half.
Yeah, I know. It's like the same weekend that Wheel of Time comes out. We are going to the very first ever Nash Yarn Fest together.
Yes, and we're going to see Arnie and Carlos.
Yes.
I'm excited.
And some sheep, maybe. Some alpacas.
And alpaca. Can I hug an alpaca? Do alpacas like being hugged? Or will it
I don't see why not. If there's a rule against it, I'll distract somebody.
They've got that long neck.
They do. Yes.
Do you think there'll be goats there? Rabbits?
I mean, I imagine. Like, you know.
Oh, I'd
because
love
mohair
to
is
more a rabbit.
Like kid mohair, right? Is goat.
Yeah, it's from a goat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But also, I'd love to pet and grow a rabbit too.
Oh man, I'm sure they're so soft. Yes. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to go and like experience the vibes. We're gonna go to the what's it called?
Is it
welcome party? Is that what it's called?
Welcome party, yeah. Opening night party, yeah.
Opening night party, because we saw swag bags and we were like, we're so there.
Yeah, aren't they supposed to have food trucks too?
I think yes. Yeah, food trucks, swag bags, party. It's gonna be fun.
And then Wheel of Time in the evening.
And then Wheel of Time. Yeah.
Yeah.
No sleep. Who needs sleep?
No sleep. Yeah. It'll be fun.
Is there anybody that you know of that's also going to be at Nash Yarn Fest that you're like wanting to meet?
Not me. There's a few vendors that I was excited to see, and of course I don't have the list pulled up, but like I saw that actually let me see if I can pull the list up. Well, I saw your local yarn store is going to be there, so that's fun.
Yes, Bliss will be there.
Hold on. Vendors. Yes, I saw Miss Babs. I've used her yarn before.
Yes. Yeah, I like Miss Babs.
There's a few that like I've not used their yarn, but I've heard of them, so I'm pretty excited to go. Oh, Lola Bean Yarn Company. I follow on Instagram. I've not used any of their yarn, but I'm excited to go see their yarn.
I know some of the vendors are doing like special colorways and stuff, so I'm excited to see those. And I saw there's quite a few like bag vendors too, which I'm would love to go see how they do their bags, because I feel like I'm always trying to figure out what I would best use in like a yarn bag. So I'm excited to look at those and maybe get some. And yeah, I know a YouTuber, Nitty Natty, is going to be there too, and I'm not sure if I'll be brave enough to fangirl and say hello, but if I see her, I might.
Did the vendor list change? I thought
it may have.
Okay. I thought there was one that was going to be there, but they're not there. But yeah, I don't know. I guess people.
I did see they posted, I think I sent it to you. They posted like the map, and it was exciting to see because it looks like it's going to be a big space. Like a lot of vendors and a big space. So
yeah,
I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. It should be good. Yay. Alrighty. Well, I think that about wraps it up. So, yeah.
So if you find yourself here,
our first video is done.
Our first video. And if you're finding yourself here, we would love it if you would like, subscribe, hit the alerts, because I'm sure that we'll be taking footage of the Nash Yarn Fest. So I would imagine that that's probably the next video that's going to come out, is maybe a little overview of the Nash Yarn Fest.
Yes, and in the comments, let us know what you're watching, where you're watching from, and what you're working on. Give us some ideas for projects. So,
thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye.